Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Hellview High podcast. Today, I'm not joined by anybody. I'm just here to explain the plot of and what you can expect for the upcoming series, though it's still heavily under development and it has been for the past 2 years. This has been an ongoing idea, so not everything is going to be perfect and things may change. I would just like to give our audience probably what they've been hoping for quite a while after the announcement of the series, just a little bit of what you can expect and what kind of show this will be. Some information you probably should know about her is that she's not what you would expect of a Sloth Ring citizen, let alone the Princess of Sloth. People from the Sloth region known for being very, how would I describe this? Like night owls, people who enjoy sleeping and don't enjoy putting a lot of effort into things and don't enjoy trying really hard for things. This is completely opposite of our main character, which is surprising. However, we don't know who her mother is, so she could have gotten that from her mother's side, which was likely not from the Sloth Ring. Despite that, she's still the daughter of Belgor, who is not like her whatsoever. He is very lazy. He has a bad reputation with a lot of people because he does not do people favors. He doesn't pay people back for doing his job. So as a result, Sapphire isn't exactly very liked in the community. She's always being harassed because people are wondering like where their money or their time had gone and they didn't get paid for it. Belgor is struggling a lot in terms of debt and in terms of mental health, so he doesn't really take very good care of Sapphire. But she's still she has a good spirit, she's very determined, she's very kind, and she's very caring, and I really like that about her. The second character I'd like to mention, which has already been on our podcast, Amethyst, is the daughter of a very wealthy family in the Sloth Ring. Her family is native sloth, and though she does feature some more characteristics, unlike Sapphire, that are common to most Sloth Ring citizens, she still doesn't fit the characteristics perfectly, but who does really? She is a very spiritual being, which people from the Sloth Ring are known for being. She does enjoy her sleep quite a bit, but she also is very energetic when she wants to be. She can light up a room. She is really positive and she's really like awoken. She's just in general a good soul to be around if you don't get annoyed with like talk and mention of crystals and third eyes and awakenings. But it's hell, so that's not super duper uncommon considering the environment. The main character that I like to mention, the best friend of Sapphire, Morgan, is not actually native to Sloth. Their family is native to Wrath, so they're a Wrath demon, hence why they do look a little bit different compared to the rest of the demons in Sloth. They have a little bit of like alienated features, eye color, hair color. However, it's not super uncommon considering that they're in hell, and that's not, especially at like Hellview High, there is many students of different backgrounds, hence why she stands out, but she doesn't stand out. Her family is not the best living environment from as far as I've been planning. Her family is quite abusive, anger issues, things like that. They also don't really have any distinct powers, or they're not really very wealthy, but despite that, Sapphire's always hung out with them and supported them no matter what, and always has been there for them no matter what, even though despite coming from a different background. So I really like that because it's like inclusivity, I would suppose, which though the show doesn't have like common races that we do in human society, it still shows that we can still treat people, and we can still show equality. We can still show that in a show that doesn't even feature human races or human ethnicities or human characteristics. As far as main characters and significant characters that have been thoroughly planned, that's all that I have so far. There is, of course, side characters such as Belgor, who I mentioned a little bit about him when introducing Sapphire. He's not very reliable. He's constantly sleeping, or rather, sleeping with different people, and hence why they don't know who Sapphire's mother is, or rather, he knows who Sapphire's mother is. She doesn't know because she left Sapphire with Belgor. So that's quite depressing. He kind of did fall into a depression after having a child that he didn't necessarily want. He was supposed to build up that legacy, but he never had a desire to, because he was getting older and he was still not really settling down like most of the kings of different rings had been. He'd always been, for lack of a better word, lazy and undetermined, had no real goals in life since everything had been given to him, considering that he had all the wealth. However, it did come back to him eventually when he fell into debt. He owed a lot of people money, he owed a lot of people favors, and he never would do them because he would say lack of energy or depression, or he would be sleeping with another person, which is sad, because it does show mental illness really can stop people, as well as it does feature the characteristics of sloth, and no better person to exempt that but the king of sloth. There's also a few side characters that I don't really have planned out, don't have names, but mainly people who have bullied either Sapphire or Morgan, who are like the quote-unquote popular kids, things like that, different cliques and different groups of people that will later be featured and later will be explained. There's also another character that I thought of that is very underdeveloped. It's based on somebody else I know. However, I don't have a name. I do have a base design idea, which would be light pink hair and glasses and like medium to short height. But that's just kind of my idea, and I may or may not include this character. So that's why I'm just mentioning it. As far as plot goes, the first episode is going to be more of a prom special. It will be, I'm not going to reveal too much about that because I don't want to spoil it, but it's going to be the first prom night for our two main characters that will be featured first, which is Sapphire and Morgan. It's their prom night. However, they do something that's unexpected that involves the high school. It involves some students and maybe a little bit of a disaster, but we will all discuss that later. This will be the last episode of this podcast, besides the Boopers episode, which does in fact feature who is the character Morgan, because we did try and record with Iz, however, we never ended up getting it completely done. So is probably going to be featured in later episodes of the podcast. But right now, this is all from me. Thank you.